Disclaimer. This video's information is being provided for informational, educational, and general interest purposes only. The information in this video is not intended to shock, enrage, or otherwise provoke the viewer. The sole purpose of this video was to raise awareness of true crime-related events. Copyright disclaimer: under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
Saturday, November 22, 2014, 15:22 and 35 seconds.
The police, Highlander.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
I'm sitting in the park at West Boulevard by the West Boulevard Rapid Transit Station. And there was a guy in there with a pistol. You know, it's probably fake, but he's like pointing it at everybody.
And where are you at, sir?
I'm sitting in the park at West Cudell, West Boulevard by the West Boulevard Rapid Transit Station.
So you're at the rapid station? Are you at the rapid station?
No, I'm sitting across the street at the park.
What's the name of the park? Cudell?
Cudell, yes. The guy keeps pulling it in out of his pants. It's probably fake, but you know what? He's scaring the shit out of me. Yep.
What does he look like?
He has a camouflage hat on.
Is he black or white?
He has a gray coat with black sleeves and gray pants on.
Is he black or white?
I'm sorry.
Is he black or white?
He's black.
He said a camel jacket and gray pants?
No, he has a camouflage hat on. You know what that is?
Yeah.
Desert Storm. And his jacket is gray, and he's got black sleeves on it. He's sitting on the swing right now, but he keeps pulling it in and out of his pants and pointing it at people. Probably a juvenile, you know. Hello?
Do you know the guy?
No, I do not.
Do you want to leave your name and number?
What?
Do you want to leave your name and number?
Sure. Because I'm getting ready to leave, but I want to...
So what is your name?
Scott in the back. Scott.
What's the phone number?
216-501-9755. I'm getting ready to leave, but you know what? He's right here by the, the youth center or whatever. And he keeps pulling it in and out of his pants. I don't know if it's real or not. Well,
okay, we'll send a call. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Saturday, November 22, 2014, 15:31 and 18 seconds.
Please, can I help you?
Hi, I just wanted to let you know that I just heard 2 gunshots fired around, Madison and West 98th.
West 98th and Madison?
Yeah.
I don't think we have anything for them. Hold on.
Just a minute ago, and I heard something last night, too. I mean, it's in the same vicinity, but we didn't record it. We were in bed.
98 and Madison?
Yes. Don't see anything, but I can't really see from where I am.
You just heard the shot?
Yeah, it was like pop, pop. And same thing last night.
Shots fired. Do you care to leave your name or number?
Oh, that's okay. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, for checking it out. Okay.
Okay, bye-bye.
Saturday, November 22, 2014, 15:28 and 0 seconds.
Good afternoon, police.
Hey, we have a guy shot. Like Goodell. Gabby. We have a male shot.
At the rec center?
Yeah, 1910 West Boulevard.
Yeah. 1910. Got an age on him?
He's shot in the abdomen, probably 20s. I have nothing further.
20 male?
Yeah.
GSW to the
That's all I got.
No safe.
That's all I got. Right. I gotta go, okay?
Do you have a callback?
No, they just called out with it, Jerry.
Oh, okay. So
All
you're
right,
on
bye.
scene?
Yeah.
Alright.
Saturday, November 22, 2014, 15:32 and 45 seconds.
Fire.
Hey, are you guys going to Cadell?
Yes, we have engine 23 en route.
All right, can you step it up?
Yep.
Thanks.
Okay.
It all started with a trade, one boy's cell phone for another's Colt pistol replica. One of the boys went to play in a nearby park while posing with the plastic pellet firing, lifelike airsoft-style gun. A grainy security video captures him throwing a snowball, sitting down at a picnic table, and flopping his head onto his arms in the epitome of preteen boredom. He then proceeded to the gazebo's edge while concealing the gun. He might have been aimlessly wandering or drawn to the sight of a police car speeding across the lawn. A police officer's bullet hit the boy, and he died a few seconds later. One of the officers in the car radioed, "Shots fired, male down." Black man, maybe 20 years old, holding a black revolver and handgun. Send the EMS. In a roadblock this way. However, Tamir Rice was only 12 years old. Now that the county sheriff's office is investigating the shooting, interviews, recently made public video, and police records demonstrate how a series of institutional failures, tactical errors, and miscommunications by the Cleveland police culminated in one fatal error. And in passing, Tamir became a touchstone for nationwide protests against police brutality against unarmed black people, joining Michael Brown, a teen fatally shot by a police officer in Ferguson, Missouri, and Eric Garner, a man who died after being put in a chokehold by an officer on Staten Island. Demonstrators once more chanted their names during marches for Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Due to multiple layers in Cleveland's 911 system, important details from the initial call about a guy in here with a pistol were never relayed to the arriving police officers, including the caller's caveats that the gun was probably fake and the wielder was probably a juvenile. The dispatcher did say, "We have a code 1, which is the department's highest level of urgency," to the officers, Frank Garmbach and his rookie partner Tim Lohman. When the officers sprang into action, they took a shortcut that directed their squad car directly into the park. Tamir was unable to take cover, use verbal persuasion, or any other strategies advised by the department's use of force policy because the officer's proximity to him made it impossible to do so. Officer Lohman shot Tamir in the abdomen from point-blank range 2 seconds after the car arrived, casting doubt on his ability to warn the boy 3 times to raise his hands, as the police later claimed. The officers, who were white, tackled Tamir's 14-year-old sister to the ground and put her in handcuffs minutes later when she came running up, which heightened later public outrage over the boy's death. Samaria Rice, his upset mother, claimed that the officers threatened to arrest her as well when she arrived. Tamir was shot for several minutes before Officers Garmbach and Lohman administered first aid or checked his vital signs. But at least 7 times, Officer Garmbach frantically asked for an emergency medical team, pleading with the dispatcher to step it up and send medical personnel from a nearby fire station. It would take them 8 minutes to show up. The shooting was consistent with a pattern of disarray at the Cleveland Division of Police. The Justice Department demanded that the department accept a federal monitor 2 weeks after Tamir's death and released a damning report accusing the department of a pattern of using excessive force for which officers were rarely punished. A state attorney general's investigation only a year earlier, in 2013, discovered systemic failure in the department. It also exposed flaws in the department's hiring candidate screening procedure. According to police records, Officer Lohman was hired at a previous department without having his file reviewed, where he resigned after experiencing a dangerous loss of composure during firearms training. The shooting brought to light another persistent issue for Cleveland residents. The department's community policing programs had been reduced to a token effort as a result of budget cuts made a decade earlier that could have meant the difference between Tamir's life and death. A police mini-station is still advertised by a sign on a telephone pole yards from the location of his shooting in the recreation center where he played basketball. The station is no longer there. Tamir was a regular, so if there was a person there, he would have known Tamir and gone outside to ask Tamir what he was doing after hearing the call, according to Councilman Jeffrey Johnson.
24 minutes. Here, you want to sit here? Yeah. That's right. Let's see right here. All right. Gentlemen, thanks for coming.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Thanks. Hey, go. No, we missed you last.
Oh, thank you. I'm John Morgan. What's your name?
Will Cunningham.
Will Cunningham, how you doing?
I think he was just here, so I'm gonna take it. Thank you.
Oh, okay, okay. You need it?
Home around.
How you doing?
Nice to meet you.
Okay. I don't know if I've ever met you before. How long you been on?
15, going on 15.
Yeah, we've been on about the same time.
Yeah, I worked at the clerk's office before.
Did you?
Yeah.
Where at? Right over here on 3?
Yeah.
Slick, all right.
I worked with his father. His father's one of the best detectives.
Out.
Dad was a homicide detective, one of the nicest guys you ever met.
Yeah?
Maple Heights?
Yes.
The Maple?
It's changed a lot, boy.
Unfortunately.
Not when Cunningham was there.
Unfortunately, it has.
Maple, Warrensville, Garfield.
East
It
Cleveland.
was already fucked up. Like,
Right.
Yeah, when I was growing up, East Cleveland was the city to go to, high school and everything else. By the end of by the time I was going to high school, it changed.
Times changed a lot since then.
Well, they want,
East Cleveland.
East Cleveland wants to, why would Cleveland take East Cleveland on?
Oh, yeah, they're asking
They
you
want their
guys
phone
to
bill, they
take-
want their phone bill to be paid. They can't pay their phone, Verizon's.
They need a
phone bill.
fire truck.
Yeah.
That's what they need.
Let me start. I'm just gonna read this in, just from my, I know you guys have no, but just when we talked to Matt Meyer, he said that, we just wanna know what happened.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, just wanna put that in.
Well, let's, go ahead.
Okay.
You're on.
Oh, okay. This was directed to Brian Moriarty, it's from Prosecutor Matt Meyer, and it states, "The dispatchers in the Tamir Rice case are not targets of a criminal investigation. We only need to know what happened. If the dispatchers agree to give statements to the Sheriff's Department, they do not need to appear before the grand jury. Jim Goodyear is in full agreement with this commitment. Brian, this is Matt Meyer referencing Brian Moriarty. I spoke with Tim McGinney yesterday, and he agreed the dispatchers are not targets. To be clear, targets mean subjects of any criminal investigation." And this was also to apply to Officer Cunningham, too.
Okay. That's my cell. I'm back. If you got any questions? All right.
Thanks for.
All right, everybody's been introduced. How long have you been a Cleveland police officer?
14 going on 15 years.
What was your,
September?
you remember your date?
9/18/2000.
I know everybody always remembers that. 9/18/2000? Okay. And what's your current assignment?
Current assignment is 5th District.
5th District. And I'm sorry, and your badge number?
1724.
1724, okay. And what's your current assignment, I'm sorry?
5th District. 8 platoon.
Okay, so you're in patrol? Okay. How long you been assigned over at 5th?
Since March 9th.
How you like it over there?
Better than I was in the 3rd.
Where were you at prior to that?
3rd District, downtown safety.
Dang.
3rd D. How long were you in 3rd DSU?
About 2.5 years.
What's the difference between the two?
Commander Stevens.
Okay. All right. I understand. Okay, so you were assigned DSU, now you're in 5th District. And are you in a one-man or are you a two-man, or is it just?
Well, I'll be a two-man starting on the 13th.
Okay.
For the rest of the month.
And you in which platoon?
A.
A platoon? Okay, so you're doing a day. So we're here today to talk about some of the things that occurred November the 22nd, 2014. The incident was at the Cadell Rec Center. I think we'll all remember the day and the time. Can you tell me like what company you were working for?
Safe Choice.
It was authorized off-duty part-time?
It was, but I forgot to, I thought I had renewed it. It's a different issue I'll have to deal with later, but.
It was just, it had expired and you just hadn't.
Right.
Yeah, so it had been approved. You just had to resubmit your paperwork like we all do every year.
Right.
Okay. So it doesn't mean you were in violation. You were just forget it submitted and it was still approved. Was it always the same company?
No, it's gone through 2 different companies.
How long had you worked this part-time? Now, was it primarily the rec, that rec, or was it all recs?
It's all recs, but I've worked Cadell probably the last 4 years.
Okay, so you worked down 4 years. Which company was it prior to the current company, and what's the current company?
Prior company was RCAP.
ARCAP?
No, RCAP.
Oh, RCAP. Which company is it now?
Safe Choice.
Safe Choice? Who, I guess who's the supervisor or owner of that particular company?
Detective Anthony Spencer, 3rd District Vice.
3rd Vice. My understanding, does his wife help out with the company?
Anita, yes.
Yeah, does she, is her role, just, what is her role?
Basically administration.
Just administration.
As far as I know.
So, what days do you work the rec center?
Saturday.
Saturday and only Saturday? Okay. What time's your shift start there?
It starts at 2, 1,400 hours
Yeah.
to 1,800.
Now, on your 5th District 8 platoon, is that a rotating shift or do you have regular days off?
Rotating days off.
Sometimes, like, for example, where I'm getting at is sometimes you may not get there because you get held over at your...
Sometimes. Well,
Yeah.
that was prior to. I was working DSU before.
Okay.
So I was working 6 to 4 in the morning at DSU, so I was always being able to work.
Okay.
And I was working DSU when this happened.
Okay, so you were working DSU when this happened? Okay. Tell me a little bit about that day. You clocked in at 1400, or do you clock in or do you have a sign-in sheet?
Well, you sign in and you call.
You call his wife or him?
No, you call the city direct, the rec director.
Okay.
Of the city. Called in. I was sitting at the desk. I was using my tablet at the time, and one of the kids came up to me and said, "Somebody's outside shooting." And I told him, "Well, that's not what we have. What I'm here for. You know, what I'm here for is inside the rec." And then they said, "No, the police shot somebody." So I said, "What?" I got up. I went outside. I saw the car there, and there was a couple kids that went outside with me, and Tamir's sister all of a sudden started screaming, "No, that's my brother!" And she took off running towards the scene. So I took off running behind her. Loman tackled her, and I came up afterward. She was kicking and screaming and kicking and wouldn't. So I asked Loman if he had some handcuffs. We put her in handcuffs. I said, "Let's put her in the car." We put her in the car. Then I asked, "What happened?" And he told me. He was distressed, and he told me he didn't give me a choice. And I said, "Okay." Then we introduced ourselves, and I walked over and I saw Tamir laying there, and I saw the gun. And at first I thought it was a real gun also. And from there, I talked to Garnbeck, his training officer Garnbeck, and I asked, "Did you call for a boss?" He said, "Yeah." And I said, "Did you call the EMS?" He said, "Yeah." And I said, "Well, you might want to call and have him step it up." And right then, that's when the EMT pulled up.
Fire?
No.
Oh, that's when, yes, I know what you're talking about.
That's when the EMT pulled up. He said, I'm an EMT, and he started to work on Tamir. And we started keeping everybody away. Well, before that, before the EMT pulled up, Tamir's sister was screaming that, "Y'all killed my brother, y'all killed my brother." And I told her, "Your brother's still alive." And that kind of calmed her down for a minute. Then the EMT arrived, then their other brother arrived, and then their mother arrived. At the time, I was helping secure the scene. People back.
All right, let's, if you don't mind, can we, I know it's tough, and listen, we've all been through these types of things when we find people, see people shot, saw dead bodies. I know it's rough, because I've been through it. And I hate to have to keep going back through it. So I'm gonna apologize beforehand, okay? But let's, if you don't mind, I'd like to back up a little bit. You're at the desk, and somebody comes up to you and says that somebody was shot.
No, they said somebody shooting outside.
Somebody shooting outside, okay. And you had assumed that it was some kids shooting at each other.
Or whoever.
Okay. And then he said, no, the cops shot somebody.
Right.
Now, did you know, or were you familiar, because you've been up there for quite a long time, were you familiar with Tamir and his sister?
In passing, mainly, I've had, not too many dealings with Tamir. I had talked to him and said hi or whatever, but...
I mean, was he a knucklehead? Was he cool? Was
he wasn't. He was a little bit of a knucklehead, a little bit, not one of the troublemakers.
I think they're all at some point, at that age, some point, they're a little bit of knucklehead. He
was a kid. He just wasn't,
right.
He wasn't one of the thugs. He wasn't one of the real big problem kids. He was just, he could be a little hard-headed, a little spoiled, but other than that, no.
Prior to this, in those years that you worked up there, how often did you see Tamir at the rec center on Saturdays when you worked? Was it like...
Earlier, probably more when he was younger, but I think he went there more so throughout the week.
Okay.
Than on the Saturdays.
Okay. So...
Or if he had gotten there, if he was there, it was probably prior to my shift starting.
Okay. Okay. Were he and his sister usually together?
No.
No?
No. I didn't even know that was his sister or his brother until that day.
Oh, okay. Okay. Not that you would know, but did you see him hanging out with anybody in particular?
He was hanging out with a couple people in the game room, but nobody that I can pinpoint in particular. I do know that he was hanging up at the desk prior to him going outside. I saw him last at the desk.
Okay.
And I think I don't remember for sure, but he might have used the phone, and that was it. That's the last time I saw him.
In a little bit, I'm going to show you video from Cadell, just to see if you can help us identify some of the kids that were there, since you know any of them, and we'll show some of you. Maybe you can point out and say, hey, that's, even if you just know their first name, because what we're attempting to do is we're trying to identify all the kids that were there, and we're trying to interview them to learn more about, what went on prior to. So you kind of knew Tamir. Did you ever meet his mom? His mom ever come up on a Saturday?
I don't ever remember.
Okay. Okay. So, we fast forward to, this male comes up, or this kid comes up to you, says there's some shooting, and says, no, the police just shot somebody. I believe you said you were looking at your player or something like that?
My tablet, yeah.
Your tablet, okay. And then you go outside. Had his sister already ran out prior to you?
No, she came out the same time I did.
She came out the same time you did? And when you walk out that door and you turn and you see the gazebo, she's running. Do you see him anywhere laying on the ground, or do you see him?
I didn't see anything. I didn't really have a chance to, because as soon as we walked out and we're on the sidewalk to the front. That's when she screamed out, and when she screamed out and took off running, and I noticed that the police car's there. I ran after her.
Okay. Now, when you get there, who comes out to stop her from approaching the scene?
Loman.
Loman does? Okay. Where was his FTO?
By Tamir's body, I believe.
Okay. So, we're hearing all kinds of things. We see things on video. From your perspective, what did he do to Tamir's sister? Did he throw her to the ground? Did he pick her up and slam her to the ground?
I saw he put his hands out and grabbed her to stop her.
Okay.
It was kind of wet still.
Yeah.
So the grass was wet, and he put his hands out, like she ran and slipped and fell.
Okay.
Like that.
Okay.
He didn't really. I don't remember if he tackled her or not, but I know he put his hands out. She fell and she went to the ground.
And when she's on the ground, is she? What's she doing?
She's basically trying to get up and she's kicking at him. And then shortly I get behind her and I'm holding on to her, grabbing her, trying to keep her from going towards the scene. And she's kicking and trying to get up. And that's when I asked him, do you have any cuffs?
Okay. Did in your mind, did it feel like, okay, she's a little bit out of control, we need to kind of just to calm her down? She was very out of control?
Yes.
I mean,
she was very hysterical.
Tell us like it was, man.
I mean, she was very hysterical because, like anyone would if their sibling had been hurt.
Absolutely.
So she was very, very hysterical, very out of control. And the only reason that she was put in the car was to preserve the crime scene.
Okay.
Or preserve the scene, period.
Okay. And then Patrolman Loman assisted you in escorting her to the back of the zone car that was there? Okay. You had mentioned that he being Officer Loman had said something to you previously. Tell us how his demeanor was.
Distraught, very, very distraught, very upset. He's basically like, I can't believe this happened. He was in pain, especially when he found out. I think he found out that it was a child.
Okay.
But
did he mention to you prior to this that he thought it? I mean, just the quick.
He said I didn't have a choice.
Okay. Okay.
He said he reached for the gun. I didn't have a choice.
We discovered. I mean, by watching the video, it appears that when I don't know if you've seen it. Did he appear injured in any way, Officer Loman?
Not that I could tell.
Okay. I know he was he was transported to the hospital by EMS. I didn't know if he,
He might have been from when he had his encounter with his sister. She may have kicked him somewhere. I don't know.
Okay. Okay. So after you secure Tamir's sister in the back of the patrol car, what's done next?
I asked him what happened.
Okay.
And that's when he said he didn't give me a choice. I didn't have a choice.
Okay.
There's nothing I could do.
So you're with Loman, the FTO's there, and then you mentioned that the medic came. I'm assuming we're talking about Special Agent Andy Earl came. If you didn't know, that's who it was. He's an agent. What did he do when he got on scene?
He got out of the car, he declared himself an EMT, and he went immediately to work on Tamir.
Okay. Did anybody assist him with working on Tamir?
No.
Okay.
Not that I recall, no.
Okay. How long did you stay out there in the area?
Roughly 20 minutes.
Roughly. Do you recall after that EMT was there, who arrived first? Whether it was first responders, whether it was fire, EMS?
No, I don't recall, I can't say. I believe EMS and fire arrived, well, EMS arrived first and fire arrived afterward, but I'm not absolutely sure.
Yeah, we're not holding you to it. I mean, this is all your recollection. So after, and then all the other units started arriving, correct? So did you go back, what happened after you cleared that gazebo area?
I gave my name to to the supervisor that showed up.
Okay.
She asked me, what did I see? And I told her I didn't see anything. I was there after everything happened.
Okay.
And she got my name. And they started putting the tape around, the caution tape, or the crime scene tape. And I didn't have a jacket on, so I was kind of cold. So I went back in.
Okay.
I knew that, there was going to be more people coming.
Okay. Did, when you went back in, did the rec stay open all day, or did they close the rec?
They closed the rec.
Okay.
Well, the workers there called the manager, and the manager got there, but by that time they told everybody to leave, and so everybody's got to go.
Okay. So when you started walking back, I can only assume, I mean, we have the video, but there was a lot of people that actually were gathering at this time out there. Did you see or recognize anyone that was taking cell phone video at that time?
I didn't recognize anybody. I just walked off.
Okay. We're just trying to figure out if there was some cell phone video that may have been taken that we don't know about.
I'm pretty sure there was a lot of cell phone video, because that's what jackasses do nowadays.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
A lot of times instead of helping, they rather sit there with the video.
You got anything? Yeah, no, you're fine.
You want to go through that first, or want me to go and ask a few questions first?
Go ahead.
How long have you known Garbeck and Loman?
Don't know.
What's that?
Don't know.
You don't know him? That was your first time meeting?
Yeah. Well, I've seen Garbeck around.
Okay.
But
just in passing, not no relations or
never,
anything like that?
Never had a conversation with him.
Okay. You didn't render no assistance to Tamir, correct?
No.
All right. Do you have any first aid training of that caliber anyway to render any first aid training?
In my file I do, but that was a while ago. We don't get, and basically we're not really in a gunshot thing. I can, like anyone, I can try and recall how to do first aid.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
How to give chest compressions and mouth to mouth. I can recall that if need be. But for a gunshot wound.
But you're not a medic, you're not EMT certified, you're not none of that, correct? Have you ever been involved in a use of deadly force incident before?
No.
Do you recall who the supervisor on scene was that day?
No, I don't know her name.
I'm going to let you show me that.
I'm going to show you this. This is the video from the camera inside. I just want to see if you can help me, if you can point out any, like who is that leaning over right now? The time right now is 3:20 and 34 seconds.
I can't see the face.
Okay.
Is there anything prior to that?
Yeah.
Can't see his face.
What about her?
That's Chris.
Chris with the backpack?
Yeah, that's Chris. That's Rainier.
What just let out of the gym? Were they working?
No, they were. I think they had there was a practice going on.
You know who that kid is?
No.
The big white kid?
No.
If I said his name, would you remember it? Dylan?
No.
Okay. I'm gonna fast forward just a little bit. Yeah.
I think that was Tamir, wasn't it?
All right, our time is 15:27. I'm going to try to get to the shooting occurred about 15:30 and some change. So I want to see if you can recognize the kid who actually came up and told you what went on. It's 15:30. So the shooting just occurred. This is the kid I think that comes up and talks to you. You know who that kid is?
Can you go back?
Yeah.
I think that's Rainier.
Rainier?
Yeah, Rainier Oates.
Rainier Oates, okay. I'll give you one more, I'll give you one more look at it.
Rainier, he's very specific about his name.
Rainier? Okay. Rainier Oates. Okay, so he's the kid that came up and actually had said, hey, they were shooting. And that's you packing up your stuff, right? Okay. Let me just go back to here. This is going to be the camera that everybody's seen. It's loading. Okay. All right, it's already occurred, so I'm just trying to find a middle spot here. One more, maybe. Oh, here we go.
Yeah, I was trying, I knew there was snow on the ground.
Okay, now the dome car's gonna roll up.
Oh, he slides. I think he tried to stop here. He slid up because of the wet grass.
You think he tried to stop before the gazebo, right there, and he slid?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, shortly you're gonna come out. Now, this is Garback and that's Loman, right? Okay. You're gonna come here shortly after the sister. And just a little bit.
So there was a car back there.
That's why I like to play the video, because it's hard to remember some things. And I don't want to make it appear that you know. So but then Loman comes up, so you are correct. You did assist Loman, but Garback is the one that actually stopped her from coming to the crime scene first. Am I right or wrong?
Right.
I don't want to put words in your mouth. So at this point, she's not handcuffed. What's going on right now?
We're about to handcuff her. I asked him if he had the cuffs.
Okay. So, were you trying just to calm her down? She was
at the time.
Okay.
Like, because she was kicking.
Okay.
Right there.
All right, and then that's when you you pick her up. And she's going crazy right now, or what's she doing?
Yeah, she's throwing back, trying to pull the dead weight.
Okay. And then you guys put her in the car. Okay. I want to show, if you got more questions, I got.
Yeah, do this, John. Take it back to once Loman gets out of the vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
When they just arrive on scene and get out of the vehicle. With your 17 years of, you said 15 years of experience, watch the officers' actions and just do a play-by-play on what they're doing. You'll see exactly what happens in a moment. And once it occurs, what happened with Loman?
He backs away.
Right. And what type of positioning are they taking?
Taking it Looks like a cover position. That loan is taken.
Okay, that's what I wanted. Like he says, when they exit out the vehicle, like he's taking cover, and they're taking safety positions using the vehicle, and he's circling around.
Circling around to make sure that he's down, and he kicks the gun away.
You saw what now?
Yeah, he kicks the gun away. Conrad kicks the gun away.
Okay.
I wanted to show you, it's going to take me a second to find it, so if you got any more questions, I want you just to show me if you know any of these kids. And then that's it for me. If you got any more questions.
Yeah, go ahead and find that. I'm gonna have him, you don't have to be a full artist. Can you just kind of describe, just draw for me the gazebo, the placement of the vehicle, where you saw the gun at, because you did say at one point you saw the gun, and where Tamir's body was in reference to that.
I can't draw that at all.
You're like me. I can draw some stick figures.
I can't draw at all.
I can draw some stick figures.
It doesn't have, like I said, it's just for general placement.
Car's here. Tamir's body is like here. The gun is, well, body a little over here. The gun is in the grass right there.
Okay, it's in the grass.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you recall which way Tamir's feet were facing?
His feet were facing towards the building.
So that would be north, correct?
Yes, his feet were facing north. Well, I'll tell you, you want to get technical, northwest, actually.
Well.
He was at an angle.
Okay.
So if you want to get technical.
Gotcha. And you said you didn't know that was Tamir's sister and brother until that day.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, were you still outside? There was a lot of people that was arriving on scene. You mentioned the brother and mother arriving on scene as well. You were still outside when they arrived on scene? All right. Did any other incidents happen while you were still outside with them?
Well, his brother acted like he wanted to fight, so they took him down and put him in the car. And his mother gets there, and she's hysterical. And before they load him into the EMS wagon, she says, "They got 1.5 million. I'm gonna get 10 off of this."
Who's they got 1.5? You know,
Russell and Williams.
Oh.
The families of Russell, Timothy Russell and Melissa
The
Williams.
Brelo
families.
case.
Oh, okay.
She said, "They got 1.5. I'm gonna get 10 off of this."
Where did they say? Where does she say this?
As she's walking towards the EMS wagon to get in.
Okay. I got you. You recognize where this camera is? This angle?
Yeah, it's at the corner. The corner right there's the gazebo up there. It's at the corner.
You recognize any of these kids here?
I only really can tell you the regulars that come up there. I mean, there are a lot of kids that come up there throughout the week.
Mm-hmm.
I'm only there, like I used to be there 2 days a week, but in the last like 3 years, I've only been there, well, yeah, I did my detail in Vice, and that's when I lost my Thursday. So.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So, a lot of them have either stopped coming or come during the week. So I rarely see any of them except on Saturdays, the ones.
Is this now on Saturdays? Is there like men's basketball up there?
Sometimes there's a men's.
Was there one that day?
I don't remember if it was. It probably was because they shut the gym. They usually don't shut the door to the gym unless there's something going on in there.
Okay.
They want like either AAU or practice or girls or the CYO sometimes. But the CYO, they have people come in. But usually the men's practice, if I could see the whole parking lot, I can tell you if there's a men's practice going on.
Do you recognize this guy on here?
No.
You know a guy by the name of Joe Wise?
I know that name, yeah. Yeah, I know Mr. Wise.
Yeah, what's he do up there?
He's the coach of the men's team that practices up there.
Okay. Yeah, that's the coach. All right, and the last group of kids, you didn't recognize anybody in there?
No.
Okay. No. Okay. You got anything for us? You got any questions? You Mr. Rooms, you?
Sir?
No? Okay. Detective Allen, you have any more questions?
Just to make sure, all medical attention was focused on Tamir Rice. No medical attention while you was outside was focused on Officer Loman.
Not that I recall.
You couldn't recall any injuries for Loman, correct?
No, nothing I can see.
Do you know any of these kids? You know this kid that come up with this fur coat? Okay. I mean, you see
I can't recognize him.
here what's going on. You know who that is? That's Tamir. Okay. There's that kid, that big white kid that was in there before, I think I mentioned his name. I don't know if you remember his name. I don't know if you recognize any of those kids. He's pointing the gun, he's doing his thing, he takes the gun. I just didn't know if you had seen any of these kids before with like with a fur coat. I mean, that'd be unusual, somebody coming into the rec center with a fur coat. How about a kid with a plaid jacket and braids that comes in? No? Okay. Hey, we gotta ask. If we don't ask, we never know. And this camera angle's where?
That's right in the corner, right? There's a door right here going into the gym.
Okay.
And this comes around the front. You can see what's right there.
Okay. So you don't remember any of those guys, or can't recognize any of those kids. I know it's hard to see their faces, it's grainy.
It's kind of grainy.
But sometimes if you just, by the way they look or walk, or you might be able to.
See, that part of it, yeah.
Yeah.
Just wanted to add, just because.
Absolutely, go ahead.
Detective Allen's question. In terms of your focus, if Loman was injured, your focus really wasn't on Loman at all. So if Loman got injured at any time during this, you couldn't, your focus was directed somewhere else, correct?
Okay. Again, we're here. Do you have any questions for us at all? I mean, we really appreciate you coming down and talking to us to help shine some light on a few things.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right.
Thanks, son.
All right, take care.
Detective, pleasure meeting you.
Indeed, same here. Quite sure we will see each other again.
Yeah,
don't forget your phone.
I don't, our other dispatcher had some medical issues with the family.
Okay.
So we'll get her in.
Yeah, I think she was the last one. We had another EMT.
Danny Lentz, I think. Somebody mentioned to me, I don't know if Jim mentioned that to me or.
Yeah, Jim mentioned Lentz to you.
Whose charger is this? Is that Henry's?
Thanks, dude. See you.